Alright, well welcome back guys to another tier list video. The last one we made was about in January. We're now a good month and a half, probably 2 months into the new season 1.5 mid-season patch. I think this is now good enough time before we get into season 2 to make a tier list. I think the meta has definitely settled. A lot of changes since season 1. So let's just get right into this. So how this listing is going to go is S tier is obviously your top picks and bans. A plus is like your great characters, and you could use these whenever you'd like. These characters always work great in any comp. A is your average. They're not bad, but not particularly too good at certain things. B is situational, of course. It only works in certain manners, maybe certain team ups. Certain characters that can specifically counter others. And then C is just, a very small niche or just particularly not very good. Like, these characters would need buffs or something to kind of push them up to average or situational. So first up is Adam Warlock. So the whole triple support meta has definitely shifted. There's been a huge cooldown nerfs across all supports, just making their ults more difficult to obtain. So they definitely want you to be more mindful of when to use them or when to sort of swap off characters or certain situations. Okay, we may not particularly have a defensive ult, but, let's say we go on the offense and we mess up, Adam Warlock can clearly just sort of reset that mistake if the offense doesn't go too good. So I think the supports, I think it was particularly a good thing that they got these cooldown nerfs. Because like I said, it makes people more mindful of who to pick and when to use them. And for the most part, you are seeing a lot of Adam Warlock, at least in my high-end plays, whenever, if we have a good Iron Wall sort of comp, two shield tanks, or one shield tank and then one diver, or, anything like that, like a Strange and a Magneto, or Magneto, Thor, or Strange and Venom, or Hulk, just any sort of thing like that, Adam Warlock would be good to have alongside a more defensive support. So I think I'm just gonna leave him here for that. Next up is Black Panther. I think before I had him in A plus. Yeah, I did. I have my previous tier list here. So Black Panther, I had him in A plus. I move him down to just A. I think he sort of has become sort of like this tickle monster, as people like to call him, because it just sort of seems like you're putting so much effort into a dive. You throw a spear, you dash through them, then you use your E to the spinning kick to mark them, and then dash through them. Then you throw your second spear, dash through them. It takes so much just to kill some backliner. But even then, it seems like the moment you throw your first spear, they're already just healing that backliner. Any support is already healing them, so it's gonna take a lot. It takes a lot of effort to kill somebody as Black Panther. I feel like he could use some buffs, but he's still good enough in the right hands. And by the way, if it wasn't already obvious enough, this is a ranked tier list, so I'm doing this based off of diamond and up. So next up is Black Widow. I do see her sometimes, but I know she got a buff. What was it? I think it was to her ult, where if it's not necessarily one-shotting, but it's just more if you stay in the area, the whole little sticky plasma that you're in, you take a lot more damage, so she can one-shot at least. But even then, it just seems counterintuitive to the whole sniper thing. That's you want to hope to one shot headshot any backliners, but even then it's the way they changed it is if you shoot anybody with the ult, anybody that was hit will now take more damage. But if anybody steps into it, they don't get the vulnerability effect. So it's like anybody can just step into it and they won't take the 15% more damage, which is kind of weird. I think they should buff it to where it does do that, so you can at least actually give her a one-shot potential, but it's still, even then, just her, it's still just bad. Like, you only see this character if it's like a one-trick main, whatever, that want to pull off some insane stuff. Like, even then, her little team up with Hawkeye at least boosts her viability, but again, you're not seriously making a comp around that, just like off of these two. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave her in, like, you know, C for a very specific niche, and she just also not particularly good. Alright, next up is Hulk. Previously we had him in S tier. I think he is gonna go down. They have nerfed him quite a bunch to his shield. I think what else? They nerfed his overall they nerfed his overall health. His little team up. He's still good with like Doctor Strange. Like him and Strange, like it's no longer just him, Iron Man and Strange. Like I'll get to why later with Iron Man, but he still works good with just the two tanks. Just Strange and Hulk combo works good. But it's still, even then, it's like he's taking more of the hits and Strange is taking some hits as well, which we'll get into later. But I think he's not particularly a priority ban anymore. Like, you used to see this character banned in every ranked game, just for the fact that he can, you know, buff those two characters. But now it's like there's more ban-worthy picks to do. Captain America, yeah, he was in B. I think I'm gonna bring him up to A tier. Yeah, they definitely buffed him a lot to where, you know, he can actually be more defensive. You know, he could use his shield while running and sprinting while he's in the air and stuff. They buffed his little shield toss that ricochets. You know, it goes faster. Little quality of life changes where if you don't want to throw your shield, you could still melee while you're empowered. Just little things like that, I think, boost him up to where he's just average. He's particularly still not the best tank. He's just, again, like, I'm gonna leave him at the bottom of A tier because I still think he's somewhat situational, but he's still good enough to where, you know, you can have him as like a second tank. Like, he works good with any other tank. Maybe a few more changes and they'll like definitely bring him up to the top of A tier, but again, he's just mainly this dive tank that wants to bully any ranged backliners like Hela or Hawkeye. Just things like that, but other than that, he needs more of like a damage boost, if anything, because he sort of feels like it takes too long to kill a backliner with his whole kit. So, but I think he's good like where he is right now. Like, maybe they don't need that. Maybe after more time, people will figure him out. But he's just okay right now. That's why I'm leaving him here. Cloak and Dagger was previously an S tier, but I think, again, just a lot of nerfs to her, specifically just the cooldown, the global cooldown to support ults, her not being able to stack her little things anymore. Just things like that just really kind of put her down a bit. She's still great. She's still like a top pick, but you're not necessarily banning her anymore. You know, she's just maybe like she works good on certain maps, like mainly convergence maps, because she is more of like a pusher than she is just more of like a defensive support ult. The little like vulnerability purple thing that, you know, you shoot out and then it's like it makes people take more damage. Like, I think they buffed that, I think. But other than that, I think Cloak and Dagger I'll leave in A+. They're still a great pick, like no doubt about that, but they're definitely, you're not seeing them being prioritized. Doctor Strange. The overall nerfs to him, like his shield, his health, the cooldowns, the range on his dark dispel thing. I think I'm gonna put him at the top of A. I don't know, maybe I still might move him back up because his overall kit is just way too good. Just the mobility, the shield, the portals, the ability to one shot with your ultimate, like this, like anybody. It's just, it's his kit is just way too strong. I still see bans here and there, but it's not like a first pick ban. It seems more like just target bans really. If you know a player that plays him, you know, you're mainly just going to be banning him for that, or if he works really good on a certain map, that, you know, he uses portals to reposition easy, just things like that, where maps are a bit longer. It's like you're definitely going to see that a lot, but I think I'm just going to leave him at the top of A, because he's still really good, still ban viable, but just like he's definitely gotten a lot of nerfs. Groot is next, and I think since Doctor Strange is down, he's sort of like the next most... Since Doctor Strange is like no longer this top tank pick, well, he still kind of is, but just more like Groot's value has gone up. Since, like, you know, going to, like, as a Strange going against the Groot, like, his walls are not that annoying, since you could easily just levitate, you know, above him. Like, you know, his walls aren't doing anything to you. You could shield yourself from most of his attacks. I think I want to put Groot in S, but I just don't really see him getting banned at all, really. Again, just very specific target bans. I think I'll put him, again, just same with Strange. Maybe later on when I look at the list, I might put him in S, but just like, I think they buffed his walls where he could place them down farther, the little small ones that attack you. He still has one of the strongest ults in the games, next to, you know, Doctor Strange, just being able to cluster everybody together and bring them to the center of where you shoot it. Just that whole, like, you know, ult combo setup is insane. But yeah, I think I'll leave him, like, you know, top of A+, possibly S tier later down the line. Hawkeye, definitely before he got, like, nerfed a lot, where it was concerning, like, his range. I think, where did I have him? Okay, I had him in S tier. I think he's gone down. I think I'll put him, like, at the bottom of A+, because they did boost him up a little, like I think the mid-season, like, shifts kind of reverted it a bit. You know, he still has, like, you know, one-shot potential to headshot, you know, any key targets, like, you know, Punisher ult, you know, he could still kind of easily take care of. Any aerial enemies, flying enemies, you know, he could take care of pretty easily. But he's not getting banned as much or picked as much, really, so I think I'm gonna bring him down to A+. Hela, on the other hand, they reverted a lot of her nerfs. I think she's gonna be our first S tier on the list. Yeah, just like her little 2 headshot combo, her going up in the air, being a menace. I think there was something like up with her CC immunity where you're able to sort of stop her before she would be able to go up into the air, and then they reverted that because, like, they realized how people kind of exploited that little bug. Like, it was a bug, but people thought it was intentional that you could stop her before she ulted, but they just sort of, like, left that bug in there and made it, you know, that's not a bug, that's a real change now. I think the devs were saying something like that. She still fits into S tier. Iron Fist, I had him in situational. I think I kind of want to move him up to average, because they changed the way most of his abilities work, because, like, he used to just be this backline shredder, but they made him more into a tank shredder, similar to Wolverine. So he kind of fits, like, you know, if Wolverine is banned, then you could obviously just, like, you know, pick him instead. Or if they have flying enemies, you know, you could pick him to sort of deal with them. Like, he still does he now does similar damage to Wolverine, where his auto attacks are dealing, like, you know, % damage plus a flat amount. So I think I'll put him in A. He's definitely not the greatest, but, like, you know, I think, like, bottom of the 8 tier, I think, is where he's at now. Next up, Iron Man. I think Iron Man was previously S tier with the whole Gamma team up. They tuned it down a bit. His little team up, where, like, you know, his abilities can now do it on his own. Like, I think it was like 190 damage, like, without the team up, and then 220 with the team up, and then they changed it where it now does 200 damage without the team up. So they kind of just buffed it a little bit, but even then, there's just much better picks than Iron Man right now. So I think I'm gonna move him down to. I'll probably just put him at the top of A tier. Again, like he's not bad, but he's not too good either. There's definitely like better picks, but you know, just given the viability of a Hela or Hawkeye now, it's like it's gonna be very, very difficult for you as an Iron Man to kind of pull it off. So yeah, I think I'll just leave him an A. Jeff the Shark, I still think, let's see, I had him in situational. I think I'm still gonna leave him there. Again, he's only works good on certain like domination maps where, you know, you want to just clear the whole enemy of the area when they're taking it over, you know, over time, or there's just there's too much defense going on, and you know, you could just ult them and, you know, shoot them off the map, just things like that. I still think he hasn't, you know, changed much from that, so I'm gonna leave him there. Loki, on the other hand, I think I had him in A+. Yeah, and now I'm going to shoot him up to S tier. He's definitely a top pick, rate god. Not necessarily banned much. Banned here and there, like sometimes. But he's just more of like a top pick than he is a top ban. You know, he works good. Like, since the triple support meta has settled down, he just works good as a secondary defensive ult. Even that, you could still run the triple support where you have him as the third, or Adam Warlock as the third. Like, you know, you have a Luna, Loki, and then an Adam Warlock, and then the Loki, you know, transforms into the Luna, while, you know, Adam, you know, can still, you know, do his thing. It's like 2 defensive ults and then 1 offensive. Just little things like that, or even then just like, you know, a Luna or a Cloak and Dagger and a Loki, you know, triple defense ult. Or just like he's good as a second support now. Like, he used to just be best third, but now like he can obviously work. So yeah, he's kind of like earned his way up to there. Luna, on the other hand, I still think she's top pick rate, top pick support. She's definitely banned a lot as much as she is picked. But, you know, if you're able to get her through, you gotta, like, you know, have your supports go her. Because, again, it's just, the ult is just still way too strong. You know, 12 seconds of, like, you know, invulnerability is just insane. And then, you know, have an Ulki ult as her for 12 more seconds. And then it's just an insane combo going on between these two. So nothing's changed much there. Magic, let's see. Magic was an A tier. I think I'll still leave her an A tier. Not much changes to her, just still this, like, you know, simple, somewhat tanky backliner. You know, hard to catch, hard to kill sort of thing. Again, in the good hands, she's probably A+, but just neutrally, she's just average at best. So yeah, she's gonna stay there. Magneto, it was an S tier last one. He's still an S tier. I think since, like I said, since Doctor Strange has fallen off a bit, I think it's like Magneto still reigns supreme. Him and a Groot, or, you know, it could still work, you know, him and Strange double shield tanks, it still works, but just his overall kit is just way too good. Not as much mobility as Strange, but he's still just like much more defense, double shield, or, you know, bubble somebody. His ultimate being able to kill a Luna or a Cloak and Dagger compared to any other tanks. It's like, I think I see a lot of people abusing his little one-shot combo where you shoot one, then you shoot your iron volley, like, you know, your 3 rings. Once it's fully charged, you know, you 1, 2, and then 1, and it's like insta-kill somebody. That's pretty insane. Other than that, yeah, he's a top pick. Not banned as much, but just, you know, he is prioritized over any other tank right now. Mantis, I think I'm gonna put her like below Cloak and Dagger. She's still good. I just think her healing overall is a bit slow. Just the whole overtime healing doesn't work as good compared to, like, you know, everybody else's insta heals. Her ultimate is still good. It's probably like I wouldn't say it's just as good as Luna's, but just the whole movement speed boost and the healing over time with shields as well. It's like that's really good. She is like one of the highest DPS supports as well. You could use her offensively or defensively, anything works. But just I don't know. I still don't like her. The whole just healing over time is kind of slow. It's like I think she has like the slowest healing out of all the supports, like outside of her ultimate. Like I still think Jeff's and like Rockets are probably like higher than hers. But I think just like I said, the ultimate makes up for that, so I think I'll leave her at A+, just below Cloak and Dagger, but still viable. You could still go her as a secondary or primary support. Moon Knight. So originally I had him at A+. I think he's gone down to average, just normal A. Definitely better than these two, so next to Magic. They added the little buff to his like Cloak and Dagger team up where he heals in the bubble. But they did nerf his ultimate quite a bit where it's like it deals, well, it doesn't deal less damage, but it's just the animation is slower, so you have more of a react time to get out of it. And I think that kind of like decreases his DPS by a lot. He is still somewhat easy to deal with. He's just kind of annoying. You know, you see the Ankh, you destroy it easily, and then you go after him. He has a pretty slow escape, but you know, like I think like he only works good like if you have a Groot on your team, and then you combo ult both of these characters just to kind of like wipe the entire team. That still works good, but just again his ultimate got hit pretty hard, so I'm moving him down. Namor, where did I have him? I had him in S tier. And yeah, he's still gonna stay an S tier. They buffed his little team up with Luna, where I think it slows even more now, and it does more damage. I think even outside the team up, like his ult still being able to one-shot anybody in the center specifically, just that. He's just got the invulnerability, water when he goes up into the air. Like all that in a DPS character is just way too strong, and I definitely see him banned a lot as much as he is picked. Like if he's not banned, he's definitely picked. Like you are gonna see him, and especially if these two characters go through, it's a guaranteed team up that you're gonna see. So yeah, I think he's staying in S tier. Next up is Penny Parker. I had her at situational. Yeah, I think she's probably going to be the only tank in situational. Again, she's like very just small niche. Like she's definitely better than like, C tier. Like she's still good. Like any good Penny Parker would like, know where to hide her little spider nest, where to set up mines and traps, all that kind of stuff. But again, she's just way too defensive. Nothing really, no real offensive capabilities outside of her ultimate. But even then, she's not CC immune in her ultimate, so she can easily be stopped. Like, she could be frozen, she could be, stunned by Hulk. Groot can, like, lock her down. Like, just any CC can just easily stop her ultimate, which is, like, kind of ridiculous. It's like they could do the same thing and just add CC immunity to her ult, which could kind of make or break her, but again, just her whole thing is just with the spider nest that anybody can easily destroy, and then that just stops her whole defensive capabilities. So yeah, I'm gonna leave her in B tier. Next up is Psylocke. Psylocke, where did I have her? I had her in S tier. I think I'm gonna bring her down. She's definitely picked more than Hawkeye. I think there were some changes to her ultimate where like she prioritizes shielded people just to kind of be able to break their shields first. But it just still seems kind of weird to me how it works, because you want to be attacking the ones that are vulnerable first, not the shielded ones. She's still good. She's still like good against like a Groot or like any big targets, like a Strange Shield or a Groot. Like she can easily just like take these characters out. Any immobile backliners, her ult can still potentially do that, but again, she's just not as picked as much. And I rarely ever see her banned. I don't think I've seen her get banned much at all. So yeah, I'm gonna bring her down. She's not S tier worthy, I think, but she's still good and she still works great actually. Next up is Punisher. Punisher I'm gonna put at the top of A. I recently had him like somewhere at the bottom, but again, just your standard like good DPS. Like if you have a rocket on your team, which we'll get to next, like, you know, it really boosts his overall DPS, obviously. His ultimate, you know, crazy, just shreds tanks easily, or just anyone as a matter of fact. But even then, he still has his little downs where he's very immobile outside of his zip line. He has some peel potential, but again, it's just any character with extra mobility can easily just take him out. Any of these shield characters like a Magneto or a Strange can easily take him out, or even a Groot for that matter, since he could, like, you know, place walls behind him and then just, like, you know, trap him in there. Just things like that can easily counter him. So I think he's like the perfect A plus character, or not A plus, a perfect A tier character. The next up is Rocket. Now Rocket, I think, definitely right next to Adam Warlock. I think he's no longer just this situational. I think that's where I had him before. No, I had him in A actually. I had him at the bottom of A, but now I think, yeah, I think I still will leave him here. Again, he was sort of this niche character of just like, you know, if you're gonna go on the offense, like, you know, he's the support for you, like him as an offensive, and then a Luna as a defensive ult. Support ults, like, you know, that worked great. Or even as a triple support, him being the third support, it worked great. Even then, just having him as a second support is still just good overall. Like, you know, you're not really relying on two defensive ults as much anymore. So his value, like I said, with Adam Warlock has definitely gone up. Like, you could even go these two, just Adam and Rocket, if you really want to go on the offense, and then, like, it still can go good if you know how to, like, pick your targets right, who to kill. Or, like, you know, you can have a Magneto. If their team has a two defensive, like, you know, you could kill one of them, so they have to rely on the second one. It's like, it puts a lot of pressure. Like it is definitely a lot more viable than before. Next up is Scarlet Witch. I had her at the bottom of B. I think I'm just gonna move her down to C. Like, I thought with the new changes that she got, where she's like this, because her autos, like her little like hit scan autos that, like, you know, that Cloak and Dagger do. It used to do percent damage to kind of kill tanks, but then they changed it where now it does more damage to backliners with lower health. It's kind of weird. Like, they're struggling to find an identity with her, because her ultimate can, like, you know, easily just one-shot anybody. But her outside of that, it's like they don't know what to do with her kit. Like, whether she'd be a you know, melting backliners or melting tanks. It's like she's just kind of all over the place, which I guess kind of fits her because she's sort of like this chaotic witch. But again, it's just not very good. Very small niche. I'll put her above, you know, Widow just for that fact alone, because she could still work good in the right hands, especially when you're paired with Magneto. I'm seeing this a lot more now, where like, you know, you might have someone who's a Scarlet Witch main, and then someone who's a Magneto main, and then, you know, you go these two plus another shield tank and then two defensive ults. It's like that whole thing can, like, work really good. But again, just outside of that, like, characters are probably just gonna, not characters, players are gonna have a hard time with her, playing as her. Spider-Man, I had him in situational. I think he's moved up. I think he deserves a move up. A lot of people are seeing, like, it's, once you go into high ranks, like just diamond and above, it's like you're seeing this character somewhat get banned, but he's not priority banned as much as any of these characters in A plus or S tier are. Like, you still see him somewhat banned, but it's just more like target bans. Like, oh, I know that guy, I played against him before in my previous game, he's a Spider-Man main, I don't want to go against him again, so I'm just gonna ban it so he can't go him. It's like, I think just those little things alone, I think, boost him up to just average now. So yeah, I think I'll put him like in the middle of A. He's definitely better than these two backliners. than a Panther or an Iron Fist. He's just way too slippery and annoying to deal with. Like in the good hands, he's definitely just average at best. The next up is Squirrel Girl. I had her at A+. I think I'm going to keep her there. In A+, they buffed her ult where it now attracts you. I think that was just mainly the only change. Maybe like a slight health buff I think she got, but her little ult change is like the main one. She's really good against like Groot or any of these shield characters, considering how much damage she does to them. Like she could easily just deplete those shields fast. If like if their team comp is like clustered up, you know, she shoots her ultimate out, then it just like it bounces off walls really quick. It's like it really makes them like it's really a disruptor and it displaces a lot of team orientations. So she's still definitely good, still an A+. Now, Star-Lord, this was kind of controversial because a lot of people didn't think he was top. Like, I had him in S tier, and I think I'm going to leave him there. A lot of people were confused as why I put him there, but he's definitely just earned his spot there. And people are seeing it why, because he's just way too easy. They buffed his rocket boots, where, you know, you can fly longer now. You know, his ultimate can still just, like, melt anybody pretty quick. He does somewhat get hard countered by Magneto, and sometimes Strange, but mainly these two, just he's sort of somewhat countered by them because they could easily just block the whole duration of his ultimate. But other than that, he's just like he's just way like he's not top banned, but he is picked a lot, and in the good hands, he's just like a menace and annoying to deal with as well. So it's like he sort of earned his spot there in season 1 and in mid-season right now. Storm. I had her in A+ when they made the changes to her ult, and then when they added new characters, the new Fantastic Four characters, her team up with Johnny, that definitely boosts her up a lot more. I'm kind of hesitant to put her in what? Yeah, actually, I'm gonna put her in S tier. She is banned a lot. I do see her get banned a lot. She's not very picked a lot, but you know, if the option is there and you know players will take it. Like if she is not banned, it's not like people are just chasing after it. Like, you know, oh, they didn't ban the Storm, let's go pick it. Let's like do a comp around with that. It's like they're not really doing that. They're just sort of just banning her to get her out of the way for that little team up she does. The little damage aura boosts that she gives to her team. Just like outside of that team up, it's like she's still really good, but she is somewhat countered very easily by like a Hela or a Hawkeye too. So there's that. But even then, you could just ban the Hela and then, you know, just go her and then you'll be fine. Just things like that. It's like where you can make her work it, and I think that definitely deserves. Next up is Thor. I had him in A+, and I'm gonna leave him there. I'm gonna put him above Hulk, actually. He's very much like a disruptor against these shield tanks. It's like, you know, just having him as a secondary tank just works way too good. Or even then, just like two offensive tanks like him and Cap, their little team up, and then Storm as well. Just like this, the triple, this whole complete team up is like, it's very underrated. I don't see a lot of people go it though, but it's like when they do go that team up, it's like it works insanely well. Or even then, just to complete it off, like this whole five-man, like a Thor, Hela, Loki for that team up to, like, you know, revive them in case they get killed. And then plus the Storm and Captain America, just like that's already like a 5-man. You could just add any of these two, or not these two because Loki's already, but just add like a Luna as the 6th teammate, and it's like the whole team comp, it goes insane. But her just going back to Thor as alone, just him constantly just, you know, knocking you back with his hammer charge. You know, he spins it, knocks you back, just disrupting team formations, especially when you're going against like a Strange or Magneto. You could easily just displace them. If you're against a Groot, you could easily just fly over his walls, like, you know, just hammer swing away. In your awakened state, you could easily just melt the walls that Groot puts up, easily hit him as well since he has no direct shielding capabilities. So I think it works really good. Like, he's very self-sufficient, so he's definitely deserving of this spot in A+. Again, not necessarily top pick, top band. Like, he's not He's not picked as much, but he's almost never really banned either. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave him there. Next up being Venom. Venom I had in A. I think I'm gonna move him up to A plus now. Like he's definitely worked his way up. Like I know a lot of people thought he was just like the situational dive tank, and then they realized how good he was, especially in the beta. Like he was like a top S tier tank. But then like he's gone like, you know, he's gone back and forth a bit. But I think now, considering how much weaker the support ults have been, how much like it's like knowing when to go as Venom can really boost him up a bit. You know, he just works exceptionally well as like a second tank. Like, you know, you have Magneto and a Venom, like, you know, one with the team and then one diving the back line, just like works so well to break enemy formations. If you're on any domination maps or convergence maps on overtime, like the bonus shields that he gets just lets him stall for so much, making him nearly impossible to kill. I know they buffed his ultimate where it does more flat damage, so you know you could set up for like one-shot combos. So he's definitely worked his way up. So he was originally A plus, and now moving up to A. Or excuse me, he was originally an A, but now he's definitely A plus worthy. I'm not sure if like he's better or like worse than the Hulk, but personally, I think I would prefer like because these two guys are sort of doing the same thing. You know, you're both diving the back line, you know, shielding yourself and then just getting out. But I think just like overall, I think Venom just does a better job at that right now than Hulk. So I'm definitely gonna put him above Hulk. I think actually I'm gonna put him above Thor as well. Like he's definitely a top 5 tank. Yeah, I think I would prefer a Venom over like a Thor or Hulk. Just like a Groot and a Venom works good. Strange and Venom works good. Magneto and Venom works good. Just like he's like an exceptional second tank. And next up is Bucky. I think I had him in A plus, and we're gonna move him up to S tier. I'm gonna put him at the top of S tier, actually, like above these two DPSs. I'm kind of forgetting. Like I don't remember if like they buffed him or something. Like he's so self-sufficient. His ult just being able to just go over and over again. That's sort of the whole joke of it. Just going again and again and again. The amount of shields he gets after every you know, ability that he uses. He could really pull just any of these tanks out of place. The team up with Groot just makes him even more insane, just being able to endlessly just shoot people with the pistol. Like he's definitely a top pick and a top ban. It's like if you see him available, you're gonna go him, and if you're not gonna go him, then you might as well ban him because he's just way too insane at what he does. And for me, it's like he's in dire need of nerfs. It's like it's insane how much that character just does. Next up is Wolverine. Wolverine, I previously had an A plus, but I think I'm gonna move him up to S tier. Definitely better than these two. So he's just banned a lot. He's not banned as much as before, but it's like people have kind of gotten used to him, where it's like, okay, we now know how to deal with like a Wolverine if we wanted to. Like if they're gonna go him, it's like, okay, let's sort of like set up our little let's set up our formation against him. Like how are we gonna deal with him? But again, he still definitely hard counters any of these 3 tanks, like a Strange, Groot, or Magneto. Like if you're not gonna ban him, and you definitely want to pick him whenever you see any of these 3 tanks. But even then, it's like these 2 characters, like Hela and Bucky, it's like they're prioritized over Wolverine. So it's like you can get really lucky and, you know, change the way games goes if you allow a Logan to get through. So he's definitely moving up. He's definitely a top banned hero. Next up is Mr. Fantastic. Now I originally had him at the bottom of A, but it just sort of seems like people really don't know what to do with them. Like I said, I kind of just called him like a niche third tank. Like, you know, you go any of these 4 tanks, and then you just have him as like your third tank, because his kit just sort of mimics that of a tank. Like he is slow hitting. He transforms into a bulkier version of himself. It's like he's just having a hard time identifying like what kind of character he is. Like whether he'd be a tanky DPS or just a DPS with range. And even then his ult is like way too slow. They did buff it a bit where it's like it does more damage per bounce, but it's like I tried to give him a chance before, but it's just like no, just way too situational. He's not as bad as these two, but he could still work in the good hands. Next up is Invisible Woman. I think I had her in S tier. Yeah, I did have her in S tier, so yeah, she's still gonna go there. Hold on, let me do this. Let me put, yeah, so Luna, Invisible Woman, and then a Loki. That's like the better way to put it. Because you're not necessarily prioritizing Loki over an Invisible Woman. Like these two as your two defensive support options works good. Or even then just Invisible Woman and a Loki works good. Just any of these three, whether you go triple support or 1-in-1, just like that, it works good either way. Her little psionic burst where she pushes you or pulls you in, that's really good. The little orb thing that pulls you in really counters a lot of mobile heroes like Logan, or even a Spider-Man for that fact. Like if you have any like backline divers, just can really, like that little ability that she does can really mess them up. So yeah, she's still deserving of her S tier. She's really picked. Not necessarily banned as much, she's just way more picked. There's way more important people to ban than her, but again, you see her available, you definitely want to go her. Like I said before, I think just her only issue is that she doesn't have much of a survivability options as much as these two. It's like Loki, he could put down his little runic thing that, heals them when you take damage. Luna, you could just freeze somebody to peel for yourself. You can also just like ice skate away a lot faster. For her, it's like you double jump, and it's like people can kind of predict where you are, and the only way to heal yourself is if you shield yourself, or it's kind of weird. But again, it's like it's nothing that would really bring her down to A+. She's still really good. Then next up is our newest tank, the Thing. I think I'm gonna put him at, yeah, I think I'm gonna put him at put him above Groot. I think he's like the best A+ tank. I don't think he's top pick or top banned as much. Like if you see him available, you definitely want to prioritize him. Like just any of these two tanks, if you see any of these two available, you definitely want to go them. But I think I still think he's somewhat better than a Groot. Just sort of being this iron wall, you could take a lot of damage, you leap towards an ally, you take even less damage. His ult being able to stun multiple people, setting up like good combos. It's like his ultimate is just as good as Strange or Groot's, which is like, that's like really, really strong. The only thing bad about him is just that he's not CC immune when he does it, so you can easily cancel it as much as these two. Like I said, it's like good timing can stop a Groot ult or a Doctor Strange ult, and then also a Thing. Compared to these three characters, like a Venom, Thor, or Hulk, it's like these three have CC immunity, but again, they're just like little small niches for their ultimates. His passive, making him immovable is like a great counter against a Bucky. Against, Invisible Woman with her little poles and stuff. Against Logan, he can't abduct you. You just kind of stay in place, stun for a bit. Groot, he can't root you. He still roots you, but he doesn't pull you towards the center. Magneto, like his little knockback, it's not doing anything to you. Just Strange, he could still stun ult you, so that's one character that works good against him. Just overall, he's like a great counter tank. It's like if you see just any of these characters, you can go as him. Any of these characters, you could go as him as well. Like even though he, like I said, he has no defensive capabilities, just damage mitigation and shields. When he does a little sprint, he can definitely counter a lot of people as well. With his when you run and slam the ground, like people can't run away, people can't swing away like, you know, as Venom, or you know, you can't levitate away as Doctor Strange. It's like he's really good. He's definitely deserving of the spot. Um, I wouldn't say he's banned as much or as much as he is picked as well either. Like, if he was just a little bit better, like just, you know, add some CC immunity to his ult, maybe a few quality of life changes, and he might be deserving of S tier, but just like he's the perfect tank. Like he's very well balanced. Just like I said, the only thing holding him back is just there's no real like no shielding capabilities. Like, you know, you can't summon a shield like these two can, obviously. So he's the best second tank next to Venom. Like if you were to pick a Strange, I would still probably prioritize a Magneto, but if you want to be more offensive and like, you know, double stun, like, you know, Eye of Agamotto into clobbering time, it's like this can work a lot better. Granted, he is still somewhat new, so people are still trying to figure him out. Like, you know, set up good combos and stuff like that. Just, but other than that, he's really good, really good. And then his little charge up punch, like that's also like pretty fun to use. And then our last and also newest character is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. He sort of seemed OP in his trailer. You know, sort of just being this, you know, flying character next to, you know, just as good as Storm or an Iron Man and stuff. Just being able to compete against them. I think he does more damage than they do. But he kind of just seemed underwhelming, really, because the whole thing with his ultimate being able to buff Storm, it kind of just seems more of an endorsement of Storm than himself. It's like you were seeing a lot of Storms get banned for that reason alone, but it kind of just seems like no one's really using that team up, which is kind of weird. It's like you guys can be abusing this team up a lot to sort of burn through these defensive ults. But again, the character, like himself, outside of that, it's like he's not really doing much. He just fireball at the ground and then set up like, you know, a square for area denial. Like he can be insane, but it's just, again, he just seems underwhelming. So I'm gonna put him as situational, or maybe you want to do the team up with Storm. Just like, I think those two reasons alone is why you would probably just pick him. But also just given the fact that Hela and Hawkeye are really viable right now, and a Namor with his turrets can easily take you down as well. It's like, and his little boost, his little like when you when you go into like overdrive or you're moving a bit faster, that just kind of seems underwhelming as well. I don't know. I'm just rambling too much about him. Like he needs buffs to really set him loose. Yeah, that's all I'll say about him. He's definitely better than, like, you know, Mr. Fantastic. Like, I would prefer a Human Torch over Mr. Fantastic. So then you could at least have, like, this triple team up, you know, the Thing, Invisible Woman, and the Human Torch. I think that's, like, a good little triple comp to go as. But yeah, other than that, I think this is our tier list. Just, like, let me go over it a bit, so maybe some final changes, like I said I would do. So, Magneto I'm fine with. I think I made up my mind. So I'm gonna put Groot up next to Magneto. Like I said, since Strange got like heavily nerfed and Groot got buffed, I think this kind of like pushes him up as like the great. It's also good. He gets solo tank. He also works good as a secondary tank. It's like those things alone, plus like having one of the best ultimates in the game to set up for, you know, great combos. Just all that included. I think, yeah, I think he's deserving. Like he's probably just not he's not picked as much as a Strange, but like he's definitely like, you know, he's definitely right below him. But just the fact that, you know, he's buffed and Strange is nerfed, yeah, I'll definitely put him up in S. So yeah, then Venom, I think yes, good as the second best secondary tank. These two are probably just neck and neck in terms of like the best secondary tank, but I think I'll take a Thing over Venom. But you know, I wouldn't be mad if you were to go Venom over a Thing as well. Thor is fine, Hulk's fine, Squirrel is fine. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. Ape tier, I'm fine with this. B. Yeah, I think this list is all good. So yeah, go ahead, screenshot this, share it, whatever you guys want to do. Let me know in the comments who you think, what changes would you make, who would you put up, who would you bring down, just anything like that. Any feedback would be appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.